Welcome back, everybody, to the Cubing Fanatics podcast. I'm so excited for this brand new episode. It's been a while since I've sat down and filmed a podcast episode. Unfortunately, our other host, Noah, will not be joining us today, but you have me. It's a solo podcast, and we're excited. So we're switching up things a bit because I don't have a co-host. The episodes are going to be a little shorter. I'm hoping to have at least one or two, or maybe even 3 a month. So it's going to be a lot less consistent. But I hope you all enjoy them because I'm excited to start this back up again. So with some cubing news, we do have Manuel Gutman with I think that's how you say it, 3x3 blind average of 1592. That's a continental record and world rank 5. So that's a world rank 5 average. That's a really good average for blindfolded. Congratulations to him for getting that average. And next we have Park Ji-won. I hope I pronounced that right. With a 3.94 square one single. Sub 4, which is absolutely mind-blowing for the square one puzzle. And that is another continental record and world rank number 9. So the 9th best single in the world, which is crazy. And then we have our final record. We have Derek Samuel Martin Suarez, I think that's how you say it. I'm not sure. With a 3.16 clock average, which is another continental record and world rank 47. So, congratulations to all those people for getting those amazing averages. Now we're going to move on to our cube releases. So we just have one big cube release that happened in the last week or so, and that is the X-Men Tornado V3 Premium, and there are 3 versions of this cube. Now the Tornado V3 already came out, but this is a premium version, and apparently it has a reinforced magnetic core, so I guess people are having core breaking troubles with the last X-Men Tornado V3. And it also has a new adjustment system and UV coating. I'm not sure if the other Tornado V3 had UV coating or not, but this one does have UV coating, which is exciting. There's 3 versions. I forget the names. It's like Pioneer, Standard, and then something else in between that. But all 3 of them come with a reinforced magnetic core, a new adjustment system, and UV coating. I think the higher 2 versions have like different placed magnets, which make them a higher version. So now, usually when I have Noah with me, we do cubing news, which I just did, a mini segment, and then the main segment. But we're just going to be skipping that middle mini segment just because there's one of me, and I don't have a lot of time to do these podcasts. So our main subject today, exciting subject, we have, do new cubes actually make you better, or is it just a placebo effect? So every cuber has experienced this at least one time in their cubing career where you buy a new cube, you open it up, and you're like, wow, this is just a lot better than my older cube, or it's a lot faster, or corner cut's a lot better, and stuff like that. But is it like, does it actually make you faster, or is it just a placebo effect? So if new cubes did make you faster, then skill wouldn't matter as nearly as much as it does. So in my opinion, it comes to a certain point. So we'll get to that later in the podcast about when new cubes actually helps you improve. But first, we're going to look at the one side where, oh yes, cubes help you improve. So new cubes can make you faster, and they can make a difference in your times by improving, corner cutting and speed. Modern cubes are objectively better than the past cubes because past cubes don't have the corner cutting or the magnets. So if you get a really, really old Weilong, that's not going to be as good as like the Weilong V10 or Weilong V11 that's coming out today. So obviously new cubes do help you improve. That's a reason top cubers switch mains, is so they can get the newest technology. It's so they can improve their times without having to worry about the hardware holding them back. But then you also have to realize the other part of the story. It's mostly placebo. I mean, honestly, let's think about it. New cubes don't matter that much. I actually think it's mostly mental, if I'm being honest, because you open up a new cube and you're like, I paid a lot for this. Like I think I paid around $50 for my V10, and you open it up, you're like, wow, this cube is great compared to my previous main. Mine was the V5, and you're like, oh my gosh, wow, this is such an improvement. But obviously you're more focused on that cube and you want that cube to perform better. I mean, that's the mindset. You want that cube to perform better, so you are going to try and make it perform better. So you're going to get, you're more focused on that cube. So you're going to get better times at the start, but then after the newness of the cube, the new excitement of the cube kind of wears out, you're going to slowly your times are just going to sink back to what they were. So you may improve the first couple of weeks after you get a new cube, but your times will slowly sink back to where they were, just because the excitement wears off, the focus for that cube wears off, if you know what I'm saying. But then you have to think again with all that excitement about the new cube. I mean, your look ahead didn't magically improve, your F2L solutions didn't change, and your weaknesses are still there even after you bought that new cube and after you're solving really fast. I mean, that new cube doesn't fix your bad F2L cases, in my case, because I have really bad F2L. So that new cube doesn't teach you any knowledge about your weaknesses and doesn't improve your weaknesses. But the only weaknesses it does improve is maybe your turning, because it's maybe a little bit more forgiving with corner cutting, or maybe it's a little faster with speed. But then again, your turning techniques and your finger tricks are not going to fix themselves just because you got a new cube, and your F2L isn't going to improve, and your look ahead isn't going to improve either. In fact, your look ahead may take a hit, because if the cube's a lot faster than your older one, you're going to be turning a lot faster, which sacrifices your look ahead because you're used to a slower turning cube. So it may actually hurt your look ahead by getting a new cube. So now down to the final deciding question. Do new cubes help? So I think they help, but not in the way a lot of people think they help. So if you're a beginner and you're constantly switching mains, like a beginner doesn't need a GAN, 15, MoU V11. It doesn't need the highest flagship cube of all time. A beginner needs a decent modern cube, and then they just need to do a bunch of solves. They just need to practice. If you're a beginner and you're averaging like 45, 30 seconds, or even 20 seconds really, and you're averaging that and you're like, oh, I just can't break past this barrier, and then you go and blame that on cube hardware, like, oh, my MoU RS maglev isn't getting the job done. It's holding me back. It's not. You really aren't practicing enough, or you aren't improving cross F2L last layer, and you just need to practice more. I mean, if you're a beginner and you're averaging 30 seconds, you can't blame it on the cube. That's on you. You're not practicing enough. But then when you get down to like the 15-second range and the 12-second range, like in between those barriers, a certain cube can hold you back. So if you're averaging 15 seconds and you main like the MoU 2020 RS3M 3x3, obviously that's 5-year-old hardware. It's gonna slow you down a little bit. So you definitely need to get a new cube. But for mid-fast cubers around my speed, like 10, 11, 12, 15 seconds, like in between there, really just need a good modern speed cube. So the V11, the V10, the V9 works great as well. The RS3M V5, that works. It's a great budget $25 cube. I mean, you don't need the highest high of end puzzles. You need one good modern speed cube, and that will get you to sub 10 times. I mean, you don't need to buy the brand new hardware, and you just can't blame it on the hardware. Now, I did switch from the V5 to the V10 when I only averaged like 10, 11 seconds. But the reason I did that, I'm going to give a little excuse here. The reason I did that is because the V5 is a lot more flexible, and I like my cubes more stiff because I'm a Pyraminx main. So that's the reason I did that. But excuse that out of the side. That's the reason I switched there. And then if you are fast, like I mean, if you're averaging 7 seconds, the cube really matters, but not in a massive way. I mean, I imagine Timon or Yi Hang Wang could still use an RS3M 2020 version and probably still get 7-second solves. I mean, low 7-second solves, probably even 6-second solves easily with that cube. But it does matter a little bit, because when you get down to 3, 4, and 5-second 3x3 solves, every millisecond counts. So if a cube makes you just a millisecond faster, I mean, you got to go to the better cube. But so I think that's how it breaks down. If you're slow, just practice. You don't need a new cube. If you're mid-level, get one good speed cube and don't switch, because if you switch, it's probably just going to hinder your look ahead and other stuff like that. I mean, it's not going to make you instantly better. It's not going to be that one game changer that gets you sub 10. But if you're like fast, the cube does matter, but you don't need to be switching around everywhere. That probably just hinders you more, just like the middle-sized cube. But if you are, I mean, you can pick a good speed cube and it matters a little bit, a lot more than the beginner or the medium person that is looking for a good cube. So that is my opinion on, do good cubes make you faster, or is it just the placebo effect? I'm actually curious on what cube that you got. Did you think it made you faster? And if you did think it made you faster, did that speed last? Like, did you actually become faster with that new cube? What I think people should do is, when they get a new cube, they should learn a lot of stuff and then implement it on that new cube. Because when you get a new cube, your brain kind of like opens up, and you're open to learning new finger tricks and just to improve a lot on that cube. So when you get a new cube, you should improve your cross, your F2L, your last layer, your finger tricks. Just try and improve a decent amount on that. And I think if you get a new cube plus you do that, I think you're going to improve a decent amount. Okay, and bonus segment time. So because this podcast, I think it's going to release at the beginning of the new year, so 2026. I'm filming this on the 30th of 2025. So I think this video is going to release sometime at the beginning of the new year. I'm going to be doing WR predictions. This is a fun thing. If I'm still doing this podcast, I will react to these at the end of 2026. I'm super excited about this. So my WR predictions are right here. So my 2x2 WR prediction, now this is only average, not single, so I'm just predicting the averages. I think the 2x2 average will be dropped to 0.79. So I'm not exactly sure what it is now. I think it's like 0.8 or something like that. I think people get 4 movers in competitions. All it's going to take is to have 2 4 movers in a round. And with the amount of competitions happening and with the amount of scrambles that go out, there's got to be somebody to get a 4 mover and then maybe like a 5 mover. And, if they count both of those, it's going to be like a 0.5 counting. So I think 0.79 is very doable, without sliding, by the way. 3x3 average, I think it's going to be dropped to, for the memes, 3.47. So if you don't know, a while back the 3x3 single was dropped to 3.47, and I think people can drop the 3x3 average to 3.47. It's a long shot, but I think people will be able to do it. And I'm going to say that Yi Hang is still going to be dominating 2026. So like Yi Hang has been dominating right now, I think it will continue to dominate in 2026. 2027, stuff may change because ZB. But if Yi Hang learns ZB, he'll still be dominant in 2027. But I think 2026 will still be dominant by Yi Hang. 4x4, I think somebody's going to drop the average to 17.5. In 5x5, I think somebody can drop the average to 32.5. 6x6, 103.5. A lot of 0.5s here. 7x7, 133.5. So all of those is a decent drop, but in big cubes, I think you can have those decent drops just because there's several different cases or lucky cases you can get, and obviously it's a longer puzzle, so a lot can happen with big cubes, and the records can drop by a long couple seconds. For OH, I think somebody can drop the average to 7.5. I think the current average is 7.72. But what I've noticed about OH is the record doesn't get broken a lot. So I think OH is going to be broken, but just by a little bit, maybe 7.5. 3 blind, another record that doesn't get broken a lot because the 3 blind mean. So it's hard enough to get 1 blind solved, not only a mean and world record time mean. So I'm going to say it's going to drop by a little bit to 13.7, so under 14 seconds, breaking the 14-second barrier for blindfolded. Square 1 average, I think, will be dropped to 4.3, another average that only drops by a little bit. I just think not a lot of people do square 1, and it's a more rare puzzle that you see a record in. For Megaminx, I think the average can be dropped to 22.6. Now, I believe this is a 2-second drop, and I think the reason I made it to where it's such a long drop is because if you saw I think his name is Zihu or something like that, he stopped the timer. He waited and then he stopped the timer. So they can clearly get better times than what they're getting now. And Megaminx has been improving a lot in the past in the past year or so. So I think they'll be able to drop that to 22.6. For Pyraminx, I think the average will get down to 105. I don't think they're going to break the sub 1 barrier quite yet, but I think it's going to be close. I think Pyra will be down to 105. For Scube, I'm predicting a 1.27 average. I think this drops it by 0.1, so maybe a little bit of improvement there. But I think Scube average will drop to 1.27. For Clock, I think the Clock average will be brought down to 215, and I don't know who by. There's a bunch of good people that are clocking right now. But those are my 2026. I'm losing my voice. Those are my 2025. 2025. It's already New Year. Those are my 2026 New Year predictions. And if I'm still doing this podcast thing at the end of 2026, I'll look back and review these world record predictions. I got a feeling that some of them are going to be really off. There's going to be some algorithm or algorithm breakthrough or something like that. So I definitely think some of these are going to be really off. But I think some of them might be spot on, honestly. I'm calling it for the 5x5 record. My friend Zach is going to beat that 5x5 record. If you're watching this video, Zach, comment down below that you're going to be breaking that 5x5 record. That's my prediction. My other prediction is my friend Brax is going to break the 2x2 average record, bring it down to 0.79. Okay, those are my 2026 New Year predictions. Almost said 2025 again. I think that's a wrap for the pod, honestly. I hope to be doing another one of these. I don't know how long this episode is, but I do hope to be doing another one of these. Maybe it'll be longer, maybe it'll be a little bit shorter, but I'm excited to continue this podcast. Maybe we'll have some guests come on the podcast, but for right now, you got me and me alone, which honestly, I feel sorry for you guys, but you have to power through. Okay, we'll see you guys later. Peace.